Soul Garden.
Hello Soul Healers, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Update. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Witecki, your host to the universe. And I'm also proud to offer 60-minute readings that come with a free 30-minute follow-up. Right now at soulmart.me, if you buy an hour reading with me, you'll get a free 30-minute follow-up. Perfect birthday present for yourself, if you don't say, right? But either way, I'd hop on it if you could, because this is great for first-time readers or great for breaking through an issue, and I do tend to sell up really fast. That's because I only do one reading a day. Also, I'd like to invite you down to become a video participant on the Mothership. We now have video chat built into our Mothership. That means we can hang out when we watch shows together. So it's getting more fun. It's getting more loving in the garden. Come down and play with us. We love it. Now, where are the Virgos? First of all, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Virgos. I think this is going to be a better birthday year than many, because you really did your hard work a couple years ago. So this particular birthday is going to be a great one. You're not quite there yet. We technically have 2 days of Leo left, and that's what I want to start talking about. You've just spent 28 days focusing on your inner faith, finding out what you love most about yourself and sticking to it. That is your faith, what you love, and the bonds of love in life. So you've been releasing weeds, releasing old fears, stepping into your inner love and faith. So on Monday, as we start off, you're going to be cloudy but productive. The moon is in Libra, so emotions will be focused on soul capital, self-esteem, wanting to build up abundance. That's a big theme this week too, but we're still working out inner faith. So on Monday, you just want to hold your inner faith. You don't want to release. You want to basically practice what you have learned in the last month. There is a minor challenge, this opposition that'll happen for a few hours in the day. We'll be texting you about it if you're watched over by GA. But it's an opposition between emotions on one hand and Uranus on the other. For you, it's your feelings about your self-esteem and your soul capital and what you deserve will be in a bit of a tug-of-war between what you're comfortable with and where your boundaries are. So you may feel like you were crossed and you have to change your boundaries or the way you apply to your boundaries, or you may feel like you haven't been valued and it has to do with where your boundaries are. Maybe you're not opening up to receiving, which is the boundary issue, but it's a minor little boundary versus emotions and soul capital, and that is a big part of the theme and probably part of the test that we might fail on that day too. Whoops, my camera's going crazy. Sorry about that. So Monday is a cloudy, productive day with a minor tug-of-war between what you deserve and where your boundaries are. All right, that said. Then Tuesday, shift hits the fan. Showers, chance of major self-confidence or value issues. There's a major couple things going on. One, the 29-degree sun. This is the last and final test of inner faith. So Tuesday is a day you've got to just hold true to what you love and what your heart knows. Your heart knows the truth. So stick to what your heart knows. Do not let that Virgo detail rule you. This is what allows you to be guided by God when you allow your heart to guide you. If your heart says it's the way it is, that's the way it is, and that's the way you point your faith, all right? So there's a test of that faith on the one hand, but also there's a huge test of self-confidence issues and soul capital issues. That's because we've got this crazy party going on up here in Saturn. Let's fly by. As the moon crosses Saturn today, it's a two-punch. One, the moon crosses Saturn asking for you to emotionally grow up and let go of any old self-esteem issues. How much of the old past are you bringing to the present? Then when the moon hits Mars, boom, anger, passion, perhaps frustration, but you are triggered. Now here's the danger of the day. Do the soul work and evaluation of what you most deserve before the moon hits Saturn or moon hits Mars hours later. Because once that moon hits Mars, there's going to be an explosive want to move forward, want to bust out, and if it's all been repressed up until then, it can explode. That could be anger and accidents and all sorts of things. So Mars is at 29 degrees, the sun is at 29 degrees. It's a test of inner faith. It's time to move forward with what you deserve. It's both at the same time. Yes, we're getting stretched. Only masters will do super, super well. Everyone else will just keep trying as hard as they can, right? I'll say. Then Wednesday, boom, cloudy. It's your birthday. So after all that, storms, very quiet, 0 degrees, cloudy and pensive day on Wednesday. This is you just kind of processing and evaluating. This is the beginning, of course, of a new transit. The planets are very quiet. The sun's at 0 degrees, and the moon is in Scorpio. So you are now thinking and pensive and not so personally attached to what's going on in the day. But it does kick off our lesson in IB. IB is Virgo, and I don't know if you know this, Virgo, but the reason why you're natural born healers is because you operate out of the heart chakra, just like Leos operate out of the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is where the green energy comes from and where you manifest reality. Love and being, that's what we're here to do, is be what we love what we be. That's it. The universe is very simple with its instructions. Now, when you are a Virgo, what you be is your ego. Your ego is intimately attached to everything in reality. Your ego is everything that you be. It is every detail. This is why Virgos are kind of rough around the edges. This is why it's hard for them to hide things, because they are probably the most organic granola spirit there is, and that's their natural state of being. Their ego and their just presence are one. This is why they're so strong. This is why they feel so good, and this is why they can do great healing. So I love Virgos, and everyone loves Virgos, but you're working on your ego basically this month. And in the first chapter, which is the Live chapter, that's the 3 chapters of Virgo, Live, Love, Be, by the way. In the Live chapter, we're going to work on basically your definition of reality, which equals what your ego is. I mean, your ego puts out what you believe reality should be, and that's why you end up ruling reality, because no other egos in the zodiac give a shift, right? So on Thursday, the sun moves 1 degree, but there's immediately a little bit of an opposition. On the one hand, you're very pensive, you're very chatty, and your mind might be playing some games with you. That's part of it. Also, the sun on this day will begin to oppose Neptune, where it will stay opposing all week long. What this means is we have an opposition. Neptune versus the sun in Virgo is basically God versus reality. And in your life, it will mean an opposition between your ego and your relationships. So some or all of your long-term relationships may suddenly be challenged, but it's not the relationship. It's actually the ego. You are looking to bring down old ego Virgo defenses that no longer serve you, since you've recently become much more strong anyways, and you're about to become much more valuable with Saturn in Libra. So really, you're shaking off old relationship habits or old ego defenses that will oppose. So you might have some relationship issues that happen on this day, but also this trine between the moon in Scorpio, your mind and thoughts, and Venus in Cancer means it's also possible that all this value or relationship stuff plays out in your career, all right, and social life, your social reputation. So it's possible that your social reputation is suddenly taking a hit, or you're worried about your reputation, you're worried about who you are in the world, and all that worry is really an excuse to look at relationships versus ego for the Virgos. Exactly. Then we get to Friday. Now, Friday is actually cloudy and processing. The moon moves into Sagittarius through the course of the day, so your emotions are going to pull you into a nesting and resting transit. The moon rules, which means your emotions rule, which means if you're not happy on Friday, you need to baby yourself and nurture yourself and take good care of yourself. So that's one thing. The planets will give us a beautiful temporary soul pyramid, which actually stems from the moon in Sagittarius. So emotions are flowing through your self-nurturing. You're having an emotional transit, basically. You're assessing how you feel about everything, home, family, life, everything. And that emotional foundation trines right into Uranus and Aries and over to Mercury and Leo, which means searching for peace and nesting, or searching for family, or searching for foundation, searching to feel grounded, you end up innovating your beliefs with Uranus, your trust and intimacy issues with Uranus and Aries. So you're changing your comfort zones, and what that leads to is Mercury and Leo. Suddenly you have better faith in yourself. So by searching for feeling comfortable, it means you will change certain laws and boundaries, and that will directly play over to a new inner faith, is what I believe will happen on Friday. Then on Saturday, Jupiter rules the day. It's a huge sunny nesting and resting. It's a much more positive day. Hopefully that grand trine clicked you into gear and you feel a lot better. It's finally starting to feel like your birthday, hopefully. It's finally starting to feel like good things are to come. So that's a big part of what Saturday is. Now, the planets themselves are putting us on an all-stop. That's what we call a double square here. We have a grand cross or a grand square, however you look at it. It's caused by two oppositions. Now, the new one is the moon opposing Jupiter. This is the career stuff that I was hinting towards yesterday. The Jupiter is calling for a breakthrough in the way you see yourself in your career, or a breakthrough in how you make decisions, your decision-making abilities. And you're going to be weighing your career and legacy and future decisions against your sense of security with the moon in Sagittarius. So seeking security versus where do I go next with career. Then there's the Neptune versus Sun opposition, which we've been blessed with all week. And this opposition is between your relationships and, on the other side, your ego. So it's ego versus marriages, it's home family versus career. Oh, what a mess. What do you do when you're pulled in 4 directions? Nothing. You sit still and you learn, especially when Sag is ruling the day or Jupiter's ruling the day. So it's a maybe frustrating day on Saturday, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to have a lot of resolve because all these things are pulling on us at all times anyways. Then Sunday, yikes, showers, chance of childhood issue release. Not kidding. So inner child, wounded princess, wounded prince, this is going to come on top of the sun is ruled by Uranus. So it's an ego breakdown, it's a strength breakdown. It's kind of one of those on your knees praying, why is God so mean to me? And why has he been mean to me since childhood? Why do you say since childhood? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because of that moon on Pluto up there. During the course of the day, the moon will cross over Pluto, which means that we will have an emotional baggage release. As the moon approaches Pluto, there's a lot of in the moment kind of feeling like life is bad, but we start to get to the epicenter of it. Usually the epicenter is, boom, on Pluto, a childhood wound. The childhood wound is released, and then once we move forward, we begin to create new awareness based on a new inner child perspective, the perspective of releasing childhood baggage. So the moon is calling for us to release childhood baggage on Sunday, but the sun, which is your ego, is breaking down. My belief is releasing childhood baggage trines right in, that's the blue line here, trines right into the breakdown. So you'll be releasing childhood baggage and having ego breakdown. In other words, this sounds like a really nasty temper tantrum. Certainly give everyone a little bit of a break. One last note. Don't forget, all the while, you're still climbing the tree of owning what you're worth. And that, with the Mars conjunct Saturn, is definitely going to happen. You'll be shifting into your mind part of owning what you're worth by Sunday. So that's also a race that is on. All right, my birthday Virgos, that's all I got for your 7-day forecast. 11 minutes, 25 seconds. I must love you. I've said that to all the signs. I do. I'll see you in 7 days. Until then, live, love, be.